Okay, tonight is the 12th of September, and this is the 54th time speaking on the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta. Tonight we come to Sutta 130, Devaduta Sutta, the Divine Messengers. This sutta is a bit similar to the previous sutta we read, the Bala Pandita Sutta, where there's a description of hell. Also, this sutta talks about 5 Deva Messengers. There is a slightly similar sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya 3.35. There they talk about 3 Deva Messengers. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the monks thus, "Monks, Noble Sir," they replied. The Blessed One said, "Monks, suppose there were 2 houses with doors, and a man with good sight, standing there between them, saw people going in and coming out, and passing to and fro. So too with the divine eye or heavenly eye, which is purified and surpasses the human. I see beings passing away and reappearing, inferior and superior, fair and ugly, fortunate and unfortunate. I understand how beings pass on according to their actions thus. These worthy beings who were well conducted in body, speech and mind, not revilers of noble ones, right in their views, giving effect to right views in their actions, on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared in a happy destination, even in the heavenly world. Or these worthy beings who were well conducted in body, speech and mind, not revilers of noble ones, right in their views, giving effect to right views in their actions, on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared among human beings. But these worthy beings who were ill conducted in body, speech and mind, revilers of noble ones, wrong in their views, giving effect to wrong views in their actions, on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared in the realm of ghosts. Or these worthy beings who were ill conducted, etc., on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared in the animal world. Or these worthy beings who were ill conducted, etc., on the dissolution of the body after death, have reappeared in a state of deprivation, in an unhappy destination, in perdition, even in hell. Stop here for a moment. So, you can see from here, when the Buddha talks about destinations of rebirth, in the early suttas, the Buddha always talks about 5 destinations. The Pali word is Gati, G-A-T-I. Later books like the Mahayana Sutras and the Abhidhamma, they talk about 6 destinations of rebirth. They've added one more, the Asura realm in the woeful plains. But we have seen in the Digha Nikaya, it is mentioned that all Asuras are heavenly beings. They are not in the woeful plains of existence. So here you see among these 5 destinations of rebirth, 2 are happy destinations, the heavenly world and human world, and 3 woeful destinations of rebirth, the ghost realm, animal realm and hell realm. Now the wardens of hell seize such a being by the arms and present him to King Yama, saying, "Sire, this man has ill-treated his mother, ill-treated his father, ill-treated recluses, ill-treated Brahmins. He has had no respect for the elders of his clan. Let the king order his punishment." Sorry for a moment. This is about a man who has fallen into hell, taken rebirth in hell. Then King Yama presses and questions and cross-questions him about the first divine messenger. "Good man, did you not see the first divine messenger or Deva messenger to appear in the world?" He says, "I did not, Venerable Sir." Then King Yama says, "Good man, have you never seen in the world a young tender infant lying prone, fouled in his own excrement and urine?" He says, "I have, Venerable Sir." Then King Yama says, "Good man, did it never occur to you, an intelligent and mature man, I too am subject to birth. I am not exempt from birth. Surely I had better do good by body, speech and mind." He says, "I was unable, Venerable Sir, I was negligent." Then King Yama says, "Good man, Through negligence you have failed to do good by body, speech and mind. Certainly they will deal with you according to your negligence. But this evil action of yours was not done by your mother or your father, or by your brother or your sister, or by your friends and companions, or by your kinsmen and relatives, or by recluses and Brahmins, or by gods. This evil action was done by you yourself, and you yourself will experience its result. Stop here for a moment. So here, when a person goes down to hell, King Yama probably first tells him all the evil deeds he has done, or reminds him of all the evil deeds he has done that caused him to fall into hell, and then told him, why didn't you heed the warning that we gave you? And here the sutta talks about 5 Deva Messengers, heavenly messengers. The first one is a baby. So when we see a baby, we should know there's a rebirth, that we are subject to rebirth unless you have become the Arahant. So this evil action was due to negligence. A lot of people, because we don't know the Dhamma, or we don't bother much about the Dhamma, then we are careless to do good, careless and do evil deeds. So because of that, now we have to suffer. Then after pressing and questioning and cross-questioning him about the first divine messenger, King Yama presses and questions and cross-questions him about the second divine messenger. Good man, did you not see in the second divine messenger to appear in the world? He says, I did not, Venerable Sir. And King Yama says, good man, have you never seen in the world a man or a woman at 80, 90 or 100 years, aged, as crooked as a roof bracket, doubled up, supported by a walking stick, tottering, frail, youth gone, teeth broken, grey-haired, scanty-haired, bald, wrinkled, with limbs all blotchy? He says, I have, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, did it never occur to you, an intelligent and mature man, I too am subject to aging. I am not exempt from aging. Surely I had better do good by body, speech and mind. He says, I was unable, Venerable Sir, I was negligent. Then King Yama says, good man, through negligence you have failed to do good by body, speech and mind. Certainly they will deal with you according to your negligence. But this evil action of yours was not done by your mother or your father, etc. This evil action was done by you yourself, and you yourself will experience its result. Then after pressing and questioning and cross-questioning him about the second divine messenger, King Yama presses and questions and cross-questions him about the third divine messenger. Good man, did you not see the third divine messenger to appear in the world? He says, I did not, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, have you never seen in the world a man or a woman afflicted, suffering and gravely ill, lying foul in his own excrement and urine, lifted up by some and set down by others? He says, I have, Venerable Sir. And King Yama says, good man, did it never occur to you, an intelligent and mature man, I too am subject to sickness. I am not exempt from sickness. Surely I had better do good by body, speech and mind. He says, I was unable, Venerable Sir, I was negligent. And King Yama says, good man, through negligence you have failed to do good by body, speech and mind. Certainly they will deal with you according to your negligence. But this evil action of yours was not done by your mother or your father, etc. This evil action was done by you yourself, and you yourself will experience its result. Then after pressing and questioning and cross-questioning him about the third divine messenger, King Yama presses and questions and cross-questions him about the fourth divine messenger. Good man, did you not see the fourth divine messenger to appear in the world? He says, I did not, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, have you never seen in the world when a robber culprit is caught, kings have many kinds of tortures inflicted on him, having him flogged with whips, etc., as all the kinds of punishment as mentioned previously in the previous sutta, and having his head cut off with a sword, He says, I have, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, did it never occur to you, an intelligent and mature man, those who do evil actions have such tortures of various kinds inflicted on them here and now. So what in the hereafter? Surely I had better do good by body, speech and mind. He says, I was unable, Venerable Sir, I was negligent. Then King Yama says, good man, through negligence you have failed to do good by body, speech and mind. Certainly they will deal with you according to your negligence. But this evil action of yours was not done by your mother or your father or your relatives, etc. This evil action was done by you yourself, and you yourself will experience its result. Then after pressing and questioning and cross-questioning him about the fourth divine messenger, King Yama presses and questions and cross-questions him about the fifth divine messenger. Good man, did you not see the fifth divine messenger to appear in the world? He says, I did not, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, have you never seen in the world a man or a woman, 1 day dead, 2 days dead, 3 days dead, bloated, livid and oozing with matter? He says, I have, Venerable Sir. Then King Yama says, good man, did it never occur to you, an intelligent and mature man, I too am subject to death. I am not exempt from death. Surely I had better do good by body, speech and mind. He says, I was unable, Venerable Sir, I was negligent. And King Yama says, good man, through negligence you have failed to do good by body, speech and mind. Certainly they will deal with you according to your negligence. But this evil action of yours was not done by your mother or your father or your relatives or your friends, etc. This evil action was done by you yourself, and you yourself will experience its result. Stop here for a moment. So here King Yama tells him that 5 divine messengers have already sent. They have already sent to him to give him warning, but he did not take heed. The first one is a baby. Just seeing a baby, King Yama says, you should know that you will be reborn like everybody else. And then the second one is an old man or old woman, tottering, frail, teeth broken or no teeth, scanty head or bald, wrinkled, limbs all blotchy. So when you see an old person, we should also know that one day all of us have to be old like that. And the third one is somebody sick, like somebody with cancer and lying in the bed, cannot get up, lying found in their own excrement and urine, and people have to lift you up, set you down, give you food, wipe you clean, etc. And we see this, we also should know one day, without fail, every one of us will one day have to be like that when we are old enough. Then the fourth divine messenger is when somebody does wrong, he's caught by the king and tortured in all kinds of torture. So King Yama says, if you can see beings tortured here and now, you should expect that in the next world also, beings who do wrong will be tortured. So you should have been careful. And the fifth one is a corpse. If you see a corpse, dead, bloated, livid, oozing with matter, you should know every single one of us one day the body will become a corpse. And also sooner than you realize. So we should be prepared for it. Then after pressing and questioning and cross-questioning him about the fifth divine messenger, King Yama is silent. Now the wardens of hell torture him with a 5-fold transfixing. They drive a red-hot iron stake through one arm. They drive a red-hot iron stake through the other arm. They drive a red-hot iron stake through one leg. They drive a red-hot iron stake through the other leg. They drive a red-hot iron stake through his chest. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings. Yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell throw him down and pare him with axes. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings. Yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell set him with his feet up and his head down, and pare him with adzes. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell harness him to a chariot and drive him back and forth across burning ground, blazing and glowing. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell make him climb up and down a great mound of burning coals, blazing and glowing. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell take him feet up and head down and plunge him into a red-hot metal cauldron, burning, blazing and glowing. He is cooked there in a swirl of froth. As he is being cooked there in a swirl of froth, he is swept now up, now down, and now across. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell throw him into the great hell. Now, as to that great hell, monks, it has 4 corners and is built with 4 doors, one set in each side, walled up with iron all around and shut in with an iron roof. Its floor as well is made of iron and heated till it glows with fire. The range is a full 100 leagues or 1,000 kilometers, which it covers all pervasively. Stop here for a moment. So the description up to here is just like the previous sutta. But here on there's a more detailed description which is quite frightening. Now the flames that surge from the great hell's eastern wall dash against its western wall. The flames that surge out from its western wall dash against its eastern wall. The flames that surge out from its northern wall dash against its southern wall. The flames that surge out from its southern wall dash against its northern wall. The flames that dash out from the bottom dash up against the top. And the flames that surge out from the top dash against the bottom. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die, as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Stop here for a moment. So this great hell, which is 1,000 kilometers in length, in breadth, and in height, and all the walls are iron. The flames are so strong, it can go from one wall to the opposite wall, 1,000 kilometers away. So you imagine the flame is so great, how hot it is. So this being, once you fall into the great hell, you'll be wandering around, trying to get out of this great hell, and you're being burned all the time. Sometime or other, monks, at the end of a long period, there comes an occasion when the great hell's eastern door is opened. He runs towards it, treading quickly. As he does so, his outer skin burns, his inner skin burns, his flesh burns, his sinews burn, his bones turn to smoke, and it is the same when his foot is uplifted. When at long last he reaches the door, then it is shut. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Sometime or other, at the end of a long period, there comes an occasion when the great hell's western door is open. The same thing happens. When its northern door is open, when its southern door is open, he runs towards it, treading quickly. The description is as before. When at long last he reaches the door, then it is shut. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings. Yet he does not die, so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Sometime or other, monks, at the end of a long period, there comes an occasion when the great hell's eastern door is opened. He runs towards it, treading quickly. As he does so, his outer skin burns, his inner skin burns, his flesh burns, his sinews burn, his bones turn to smoke, and it is the same when his foot is uplifted. He comes out by that door. I'll stop here for a moment. So, I don't know how long he is in this great hell, but maybe like once a year, the door of the hell, there are 4 doors in the north, south, east and west. So maybe once in a year, the door opens. So when he sees the door open, he has great hopes of getting out of that hell. So he rushes towards the open door. And then because the length of each length or breadth is 1,000 kilometers, so he might be maybe a few hundred kilometers from the door. Then he runs. As he runs, he is burned, and even the bones turn to smoke. And in spite of the pain, he keeps running. He hopes to get out. By the time he reaches, maybe after a few hours, when he's close to the door closes. So imagine the pain that he feels, the physical pain and the mental torture that he feels, so near to escape and yet could not get out. Then he has to wait for a long time, maybe another year or 2 years before another door opens again. And the same thing happens. So this happens for I don't know how many years. Finally one day he managed to get out of that hell. Immediately next to the great hell is the vast hell of excrement. He falls into that. In that hell of excrement, needle-mouthed creatures bore through his outer skin, and bore through his inner skin, and bore through his flesh, and bore through his sinews, and bore through his bones, and devour his marrow. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Immediately next to the hell of excrement is the vast hell of hot embers. He falls into that. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Immediately next to the hell of hot embers is the vast wood of Simbali trees, a league high, that means 10 kilometers high, bristling with thorns, 16 finger breadths long, burning, blazing and glowing. They make him climb up and down those trees. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Immediately next to the wood of Simbali trees is a vast wood of sword-leaf trees. He goes into that. The leaves stirred by the wind cut off his hands and cut off his feet, and cut off his hands and feet. They cut off his ears and cut off his nose and cut off his ears and nose. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. I'll stop here for a moment. So just now this guy was in the great hell, and after many years he managed to run out of the great hell. As soon as he gets out of the great hell, he falls into another hell. It's the hell of excrement, where it's like a shit pot. It's fallen into a big shit pot, and it's swimming about there in the shit. And there's these creatures, a bit similar to these leeches, but this is much worse. It's like a worm swimming in the shit, and then he has this needle-like thing that pokes through the skin and pokes through the flesh and can even bore through to the bones, and then it sucks the bone marrow. Then you can imagine it's so painful and probably itchy at the same time. And he cannot get rid of them. He's swimming about in the shit, and they all attack him. Then after many years, he managed to swim out of it. He falls into this hell of hot embers. There he's burned by all these burning embers. Even though he's burned by all these burning embers, he has to get up and try to struggle to get out of it. I don't know how long, how many years he's in that hell of hot embers, running here and there, trying to find a path out or a door out of that hell. Finally, after many years, he gets out of that hell, and then he falls in a wood of Simbali trees. This forest with these trees that are 10 kilometers high. These trees are 10 kilometers high, and they have thorns 16 inches long, more than 1 foot long, and he's made to climb up and down those trees. For many years, he's made to climb up and down the trees. He's poked all the time, and the hell is also blazing and glowing, so hot. and the thorns are also blazing and glowing. Then one day when the hell guardians are a bit careless, he managed to run out of that wood. Then he goes into another hell called the wood of sword leaf trees, slightly different, another type of forest. And the trees there have leaves which are extremely sharp. So as he tries to run out of that forest, he goes here, he goes there, looking for a way out of this forest, and the leaves will cut him, cut his hands, cut his feet, cut his ears and nose, and he's bleeding all the time, and he's in great pain, yet he has to keep rushing, afraid of being caught by other beings, hell beings, so he's like a fugitive, running here and there, trying to get out of the hell. Immediately next to the wood of sword-leaf trees is a great river of caustic river of water. He falls into that. There he is swept upstream, and he is swept downstream, and he is swept upstream and downstream. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings. Yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell pull him out with a hook, setting him on the ground. They ask him, "Good man, what do you want?" He says, "I'm hungry, Venerable Sirs." Then the wardens of hell prise open his mouth with red-hot iron tongs, burning, blazing and glowing, and they throw into his mouth a red-hot metal ball, burning, blazing and glowing. It burns his lips, it burns his mouth, it burns his throat, it burns his stomach, and it passes out below, carrying with it his large and small intestines. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Next, the wardens of hell ask him, "Good man, what do you want?" He says, "I am thirsty, Venerable Sirs." Then the wardens of hell prise open his mouth with red-hot iron tongs, burning, blazing and glowing, and they pour into his mouth molten copper, burning, blazing and glowing. It burns his lips, it burns his mouth, it burns his throat, it burns his stomach, and it passes out below, carrying with it his large and small intestines. There he feels painful, racking, piercing feelings, yet he does not die so long as that evil action has not exhausted its result. Then the wardens of hell throw him back again into the great hell. Stop here for a moment. So now after the hell called the wood of sword-leaf trees, he managed to get out of it, and he fell into a river, a big river of caustic water. This caustic water is like acid. So he has to swim here and there. Imagine even if you fall in there and you don't know how to swim, you have to learn to swim. So he swept upstream and swept downstream, and he's burned all the time. So if he's not a good swimmer, then he will swallow some of that acid into his mouth, and it will burn him also. Then he tries to get out of the river, but it's a huge river. It takes him some time before he can swim out of it. But the river is always sweeping him up and down the river, so it might take even a few years before he managed to get out of the river and onto the dry bank. But then he's caught by these wardens of hell, and they ask him, "What do you want?" And he says he's hungry. That time I can imagine he's exhausted, he's in great pain, he's mentally exhausted, so blur. So, and they ask him, "What do you want?" He doesn't think they might torture him. He just says what he feels, and he's feeling hungry. One thing, there's a sutta where the Buddha says, all beings need food. Whether you're heavenly beings, or human beings, or ghosts, or animals, or hell beings, every being needs food to survive. So this fellow is hungry and exhausted, and so in great pain, and mentally exhausted, so blur. So he just says he's hungry. Then they pry open his mouth and throw a red-hot metal ball into it, which burns his intestines and comes out carrying the intestine with it. And he's in great pain. Then the wardens of hell ask him again, what do you want? And then again, blur, I just says what he feels, namely he's thirsty. Then they pry open his mouth again and pour this molten copper, which is burning into him, and the same thing happens. Then they catch him and throw him back into the great hell. So you see, he's gone one round. He's hoping to get out of one hell, now he goes into another hell. And wants to get out of that hell, he goes into another hell. It goes one cycle, finally it goes back to the great hell again. So you imagine, he has so much physical suffering and mental suffering. It has happened that King Yama thought, those in the world who do evil, unwholesome actions, indeed all have these many kinds of tortures inflicted on them. Oh, that I might attain the human state, that a Tathagata, Arahant, Sammasambuddha might appear in the world, that I might wait on that Blessed One, that Blessed One might teach me the Dhamma, and that I might come to understand that Blessed One's Dhamma. Monks, I tell you this not as something I heard from another recluse or Brahmin. I tell you this as something that I have actually known, seen and discovered by myself. That is what the Blessed One said. When the Sublime One had said that, the teacher said further, though warned by the divine messengers, full many are the negligent, and people may sorrow long indeed, once gone down to the lower world. But when by the divine messengers, good people here in this life are warned, they do not dwell in ignorance, but practice well the noble Dhamma. Clinging they look upon with fear, for it produces birth and death. By not clinging or attachment, they are freed in the destruction of birth and death. They dwell in bliss, for they are safe, and reach Nibbana here and now. They are beyond all fear and hate. They have escaped all suffering. So this last part, the Buddha says, even this King Yama, he, having seen so much torture in the hell, he knows about other realms of rebirth. So he also hopes that one day he will get a human body, because in the human realm is one of the few realms where you can learn the Dhamma. And the human realm is the only realm where you can strive to get out of samsara. The other one where you can hear the Dhamma is the heavenly realm, but usually they have to come down to the human realm to hear the Dhamma, or there might be some devas or devis who can teach the Dhamma. But then in heaven, they have no inclination to strive because they don't see suffering. It's only the human realm. We see our lifespan is so short now. So we see impermanence, so there's an urgency to strive. So you see, King Yama also hopes that one day he can get the human body, learn the Dhamma, understand the Dhamma, and become an Arya, so that he's on his way out of samsara. So the Buddha says, every one of us, we have been in samsara for so long that we have practically been reborn in every realm of existence, except the Sudavasa heavens, which only the Anagamin, the third fruit Arya, is reborn. So because we have been reborn in so many realms, so many times, I'm sure in the past probably, when we were suffering either in hell or suffering as a ghost, we probably had this wish that one day we might get the human body and get the chance to hear the Dhamma so that we can get out of the round of rebirths. Today we have this wish come true, and we have the chance to hear the real, original teachings of a Buddha, a Sammasambuddha, and we have a human body, and this is the best thing that we can, the best chance that we can get in existence. And if we don't make use of it and become an Arya in this life, the Buddha said there is the perfection of the fool. Come across so hard to come across the Dhamma, and we don't take this opportunity. We take it lightly. A lot of people are like that because their mind is blur. They don't see the consequences. They take things lightly. And then sooner than they realize, death will come, the cold finger of death will come and touch them on their shoulder. Then they regret when they had the chance to practice. I always like to remind you, a few years ago, we had one man, he came here, he did a retreat of 2 weeks. After that, he left, didn't come back. And it was only 4 years later he came back. And when he came back 4 years later, his face was dark. And I asked him what happened. He said he has cancer. He has terminal cancer. Then he came all the way to tell me that he regretted very, very much. He extremely regretted that he did not come back again to practice here because he already had terminal cancer. So after that he left here. 2 weeks later he passed away. So you see, a lot of people are like that. When you have the chance to practice the Dhamma, you take it lightly. Sooner than you realize, death will come and touch you.